Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about something I'm going to sum up some things I've been talking. I mentioned before about these delivery gig workers. Some of them, all of this is some. And the ones who do this, some that do this, is that they, basically they're talking themselves out of a job or somebody else out of a job by being very, very insulting to customers. Okay. And they make videos about it, about how they view things as if they have like an MBA, they know how to do work, tell other gig workers about work ethic and all that. Now let me get into it. Okay, these delivery gig workers, that's what they call themselves. They do the things like, deliver the groceries or whatever from some store or from restaurants. They deliver food from restaurants, whatever it is that they have apps for that they do. It's usually more than one. Or the ones that do this have more than one. Do more than one. And one of the things that really got to me is hearing that these delivery gig workers, that what they should do is that they have to educate, and that was the word, educate the customers. That more customers need to be educated on this by them. And that is basically what, to sum it all up, sum it all up, is that they're going to need to teach the customers about compassion and how to have empathy and give them bigger tips. Now the customers, not their bosses, which when it comes down to it, it is in a way customers are the bosses, but you see what I'm saying. The people that write their checks. Then they're not going to tell them. They're going to tell the customers. The people, which if they didn't have customers, they wouldn't have jobs. They're going to tell the customer, educate the customers on how to feel, how to have compassion and act on it, feel empathy, give them more money. But they, the gig workers, are not going to accept orders that do not have the tip already up there. And it better be good, or they're not going to do it. So they don't, that could be say an elderly woman who just lost her husband and she can't go out to these places herself, so she wants to treat herself one day, but they're not going to take her order. They're not going to show people could possibly be people like that. Have compassion for them and empathy and go and deliver their order. No. But they're the ones who are going to teach people, the customers, how to do this. To fill it for them and pay them, but they're not going to do in reverse, because it must be that these people pay them. Now, I don't know about you. I may have said this before on this channel. I've got another channel I'll put them on, but I don't know about you, but I have never in my lifetime gone to a restaurant or any place where I would give a tip before the service and to see how I like the service. The tip is a gratuity. You don't have to give it. And as it is already with these, I've used several of them. Not only do I pay more for whatever it is, okay, I pay more for whatever it is. I also pay mine. I had yearly memberships, which I've already went out. I still have one I need to go and cancel. The other ones I canceled. Yeah, seriously. I already had enough problems with them as it is, and I always had that tip up there anyway. But that's just so I wouldn't have to go back and everything. Well, now they're not getting any of my money. And also, before I forget, they also, not only did I pay more for, each thing, each order, each bit of groceries, I had to pay more. Anytime from a restaurant, pay more. There's also another fee, which, I think that goes toward the delivery people. And, that. I'm trying. But, so, They wanted me to pay more, even the tip that I already had. Apparently 20% is not, enough. And like I said, they want everybody needs to have that up front. Where was I going with this before I got off on the wrong road? I mean, the audacity, just the flat out nerve of these people. And then they get online and say this stuff. Oh my goodness. And I've mentioned, I think before, that I actually made a few comments, and I wasn't rude in my comments. I was just being very logical. And oh man, some of the people, even one of them was the person who made the video, but the other ones were just people who watch it and they say, well, no tip, no trip, and crap like this. Obviously didn't even read my comment. They just immediately attack anybody who's not saying yes, you're right on target. You treat the customers like crap. I don't care if you're venting or not. What you're doing is you're talking yourself out of a job, or possibly somebody else out of a job, and you're causing problems for the place you work for. Okay, they're losing customers. Guess what's going to happen next? And especially since more people are getting the shots in the arms, yeah, they're going to start laying off people. And when they start looking and seeing how much a team player, I've said this before, I know, how much of a team player you're not, how much you're not really doing your job, you're just looking for the money. Yeah, how long do you think you're going to keep that job? And some people are actually saying they're quitting their regular jobs to do these jobs because they can make so much money. And then on top of it, by the way, they brag about how much they make per hour. Seriously, some of them say, I made $50 per hour, or this or that per hour. And the customers aren't paying them enough. They need to educate the customers on how to feel compassion, to have compassion and experience empathy for them, and pay them more. Because they're not getting paid enough, but they're making $50 an hour and bragging about it. What's wrong with this whole picture? I am so totally ashamed of these kind of people. Ashamed that they, that I have even run across them. That is like really the lowest of the low kind of mentality in my book. And I have a right to my opinion. As a former customer, yeah. And then I'm going to tell you about my experience, and I have videos I've made on different channels over a year or more. It was so crappy, the service. The last one I got, you know how much of my order I actually got? Somebody, and this was the shopper who didn't want to do the shopping. 60%. 60. It was average was 70 to 75. But this time I got 60. That's an inconvenience for the customer. But no, these people think that we need to educate the customers, and they need to, have compassion toward us, and, empathy, and just let us be slackers. Let us be, out there only for the money in ourselves. They need to be educated on how to be that way. Yes, I know. I'm becoming more and more and more sarcastic. Oh, see, my base personality is that I'm overall a cheerful person, but I am so tired, sick and tired of these narcissistic people, not just in this, in anything. Narcissistic, histrionic. And I'm going to move, in their borderlines, I'm going to move on to, which is not exactly antisocial, but the one under social personality disorder. But I'm going to move on to talk about psychopaths again and sociopaths. And I know they're not in the DSM, at least unless they've changed it really recently, and I don't think they have. I'm pretty sure, like 99.99% sure. But, I mean, people who, they want to make that money. I mean, if you want to see people who truly have a love of money, oh my goodness, oh my. And like I said, it's not all of them that put up videos, but you can find them. You could find them if you looked. Yeah. But I'm just ashamed of what's become of, seriously, what I see more and more. I'm just ashamed of it. But I'm moving toward now, anytime I see anybody on my screen recommended whatever, I've somehow lately I've been finally on one of my channels starting to get recommended videos that are from decent people, good, decent people, not low life. Not saying low class, I'm saying low lives, bottom feeders. No, and I will say that. I am saying that. It's kind of against my way of saying it, but no. Narcissistic people who, I'm not diagnosing anybody, but any of the people who are like what I've just said, and said in other videos, they do not deserve respect. To me, I usually do respect people as being human, just being human. But when somebody is so, they are what they are. It comes down to they are what they are, and they're going to educate others on how to feel, experience compassion and feel empathy, and give them all their money, as much as they possibly can. Because they have bills to pay, and they have wear and tear on their auto, and they have to put gas in it. And the customers need to know that and pay them all that they can, 50% or more on each order, even though they're already paying all those other extra 3 things. Man. Oh my goodness. And if they don't know that, then why are they talking? Why are they putting themselves up there as some kind of expert? What, do you think you have an MBA now? And even with an MBA, I better watch that. I worked on a post back in business, and I said, oh, no. All the things that I earned my degrees in and went on from there is being used to, Anyway. No. Yeah. Anyway. I have made a determination. I'm not going to be dealing with these people anymore myself, Adam is going to have his second shot soon. And then after, that, he's going to be retiring. Finally, he's been saying he's going to early retire for years. No. And yesterday, last 2 days, I've not had a healthy, not been very healthy. Seriously, I have not been very healthy. And I know that it's been stress. I know this. And just trust me, I know it. And my health finally caught up with me. And one of the things, and this is gross, I'm going to say it right off the bat, was yesterday having really bad nosebleed. That has only happened to me in my lifetime when I was under too much stress. And that the last time was probably, I would say, probably 10 to 15 years ago. And it never happened. And the time before then, I think, was in the 1980s. And I don't know if it ever happened in between then. But yeah, it was bad. My blood pressure, by the way, I checked it. It was a little high, and then it went back to norm, within an hour or so. So that's the first thing I checked. And I checked my glucose, and it was good. But overall, not been healthy. And there's a point where a person just says, I have actually thought about this. This is kind of a stream of consciousness video. But I actually thought of this. I wondered, what would happen if all those cluster B types, people with those kind of behaviors, or been diagnosed. I don't know anybody who's been diagnosed with any of those except for know a few borderline, diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. But I wonder if all of those people that just do wrong to others, just do wrong to others. I've got degrees in psychology and sociology. The sociology, I'll say evil people. You don't say that. Things like, you don't say crazy. People are crazy when it's under psych. They, warn you against ever calling somebody crazy, or mental breakdowns, or evil people, or things like this. Sociology was a different story. I've got degrees in both, but yeah. But what would happen if all of them had to be clustered together? Well, actually, I think that's called prison. So I really do think, yeah, not every one of them. There's some innocent people in there too. Yeah, we got a great. Anyway, I don't know anybody who's in prison, by the way. Nobody that I know so far. But anyway, what would happen if, wouldn't it be a great world, or would it be, if the good, decent people, we were all, people who didn't do evil toward other people were, separated from all the evildoers, and they had to live. I think they would fight until the last one survived. There was only one that survived. Those evil people. And good people would be living happily ever after. I guess you could say that was one of my fantasies, and when I've thought about during a really rough time. But no, maybe not, because some of these people who say some of these things that I've said in this video and other videos, they are backing one another up, Yes, that's what you do. You cut down the customer. But I have seen that. I have seen something like this since I think I've said this in a video too. Since I was a child. And back then, it was, for one thing, it was, let me just put it this way, it was white males saying that women needed to stay at home and let the men get the jobs. Okay? And that's just part of it. I think you can figure the rest out. And when I was a child, and I have seen that since then. And then the whole thing about it is, and I think many people know, maybe not, maybe it's not at all that many, that sometimes when times are tough, like unemployment is real high, people are unemployed, it's real high. Instead of fighting, they will fight amongst themselves, or they'll make, who should have jobs, like I just said, who should, who shouldn't. They make these kinds of decisions instead of, trying to change things by voting for the correct people who actually care about humans. Okay. Not some who just want to pay their rich buddies and themselves. But no, as humans, we have not learned from history. It seems like some of us have, but maybe not enough. Because look what they're doing. Instead of going to their bosses, the people who sign their checks, and saying, hey, we need to make more money. It shouldn't be on the customer. The customers are already paying enough. We just want to do our job and get paid. Maybe they should make them hourly. I really think so. So then when they're bragging about these $15, what is minimum wage? $7.35. And some of them brag that they make that in 10 minutes instead of an hour, instead of 60 minutes. Okay, they make it in 10, and then they're not making enough money. Those customers should be paying more. Now, okay, and eventually I'll get this point out. I have turned to where, when I do watch something on TV, whether it's YouTube or it's on one of the Hulu, I tend to watch Netflix more. And, whatever I am avoiding, for the most part, I keep a little bit, I watch the news a little bit, just to know a little bit of what's going on. I used to not, it was too much stress watching it. And, but as far as YouTube, I don't want to watch, okay, I almost said trash. I don't want to watch the people that would fit into those symptoms. Some call them symptoms. I tend to just call them everything under behaviors, just to shorthand it. But I'm not keen on saying symptoms either anymore. But have those cluster B ones? No. Why would I want to watch that? Every once in a while, like I said, just like in the news, you get a little hint. But I'm switching that, and I'm starting to say, no. I saw a meme or something one day. Oh, it was one of those, we used to call them GIF. It's a GIF. We called them GIF. Back in the day, 1990s, instead of GIF, we called them GIFs. And, but it was one of those, and it said, please stop making stupid people popular. I used that one. Oh, yes. That's a good one. Please stop making stupid people popular. But I thought it was funny. But so, please don't. Anyway, I'm wrapping up. I got a headache, man. I got a headache coming back. And just yesterday was when I had that nosebleed. So, of course, it's kind of worrying me again. It's just been rough. This has been a rough year. And I only mentioned a few things. So, anyway, wrapping it up. Talk to you on another video. Oh, yeah, I did want to mention one other thing. Like I said, yesterday it was not a good day, and the day before. But yesterday, the day before, I was making a video, and I said something kept popping up on my screen. And I have it behind my, okay, I have it where I can't see it. Okay. And it's, anyway, couldn't see what it said. And guess what it was? Something had happened to my cell phone, which is where I do my videos on and edit them on that, all of that. And something had happened. It was popping up saying this program was suddenly crashing. Different things really. And it took me all day yesterday, a big chunk of yesterday, most of the day yesterday, all the way, I don't even know when. It's still downloading some, but I had to do it twice to go back to factory settings, and that included me having to write down phone numbers that I didn't have very many that I didn't have, maybe one or two that I didn't have already written down. I don't remember everybody's phone number, but that and other things, put it on the cloud and all this pictures and stuff like that. So I finally do have enough room now to make videos, besides like one at a time. And I had to do all that, but then I had to do it again, a different reset for it, because it wasn't letting me download like KindMaster that I'm using. And that was what was happening originally too. It wasn't letting me do anything. It would shut it down. Wouldn't let me leave feedback every blue moon. So, yeah, I needed more frustration on top of everything. I was like, oh my goodness. So today, I have made 3 videos and I have processed them and stuff like that. But overall, I feel like I was doing more of watching Netflix. Okay? I was watching something that was good. Good shows. But I'm beginning to really wonder, and Adam has said the same, can you find a show that doesn't have some really bad character in it anymore? Really, that something isn't going wrong. Somebody's not mistreating somebody. I mean, I have known for years, way back in the day, you couldn't read a book that, even a romance novel is going to be something bad about in it, some bad character. And when I last read one, or read some, they won't even call them narcissistic. So, but anyway, is there anything you can watch when there's not some kind of cluster B person, behaviors of something in cluster B in it? Really, think about it. Anyway, wrap it up. Talk to you all in another video.